Did you hear that China got an BS yesterday? I don't know what that is, or EBS, I guess. Yesterday, yes. Well, there's another city out. I don't know if it's Indiana. Maybe it's Indiana. Whatever. They've had lights out, no power for like 2 weeks. There's lots of places that are going down around the world. So yeah, I don't think a lot of these countries are going to wait for the United States to do their thing. I think other countries have their own timeline. If they're ready to go, they're going to go. Yeah. And also, they see anything suspicious, they're supposed to report this to the United States. You're talking about the UFO stuff? Well, I don't know how that's going to work, Dave. I mean, are they trying to keep things covered up? What did the Alliance say? What did the Galactic? The Galactic said, if you don't start revealing, we're giving you so much time, and if you do not, do what you need to do in this time frame, we are going to come and expose ourselves and let the chips fall where they may. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of negatives that will not exist through this transition. They're not going to exist. Okay? And you need an open heart, a loving heart, an open mind, and, get good with God. That's what you need. And there's many, many out there that just don't have it. The lies about 8.7 billion on the planet is absolute BS. At best we might be 5.5, and I've got some numbers here that I'm going to throw out. Now, well, like it says, I think the Liberal government has spent it all. Did you hear China and Japan are doing a lockdown? Yeah, September 15th. Well, like I said, there's going to be lots happening between now and the end of this year, right? And I wish all the people there all the best of luck, and I'm sure they'll be coming out on the other side with that. So, now, this is for the Canadians. Do we believe in Susan, in her beautiful reporting, Susan Kokinda, and seeing what Scott Bessent is saying, exactly what he's saying, or do we want to believe the elbows up, absolute carnage of the Carney clan, what's going on in Canada? Of course, we know that the truth always comes through, and I believe Susan Kokinda is totally on it right now. She's doing a marvelous job about revealing all the snakes in the grass in Canada and around the world. So I would recommend you follow her. There's a lot of good people to follow right now. The trade war is not a trade war between Canada and the United States. It's all about disrupting the midterm elections for Trump. I believe that the Carney and the band of liberals, because they're so much in line with the American Democrat Party, I believe they're taking their marching orders from the Democrat Party in the United States, and they're doing everything they can to disrupt our great leaders' plan to free humanity. And they want everybody to still be enslaved, and we know all this now. Our job and my job and anybody else's out there that's doing these, these podcasts, is our job to bring light to the darkness, expose the criminal lies and deception. I mean, when have you ever had a government that has done anything good for you other than pushing these Kool-Aid epidemics and lies and scaring people and keeping everybody in this fear porn with wars and everything else? It's absolutely disgusting. We all have to wake up to it. We all have to protect ourselves by taking grandma or mom and dad or whatever, and everybody go shopping. Everybody keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel, because the bad guys are out there, right? And as much as the words that I want to say about these absolute snakes, there's, I really have to keep it light. Scott Bessent knows exactly what Carney is up to. He knows he's already read his playbook. So I'm going to put my trust in Scott Bessent and watch him and his mastering his chess moves on what they're going to do with this. When they call it a delegation, I call it an absolute sideshow in Canada. They are very, very weak, and it shows by the struggle and the suffering that the Canadian people are having right now. The out and out lies, these lies that they have been saying right to the camera about, our workforce is up, we have lots of GDP, all this, people aren't suffering. Meanwhile, I'm watching the streets of Vancouver, I'm watching the streets of Abbotsford, even towns like smaller towns up north in Cranbrook and Kelowna, in Calgary. 17th Avenue in Calgary used to be such a beautiful street. It used to parallel downtown Calgary on the south side of the river. I forget the river's name there, but that was a beautiful river that ran through there, and it's just full of crime now. They have basically destroyed the city on the south side, and it's very, very sad to see. They have junkies and druggies, and and I'm going to get into that too. I want to expose it all. That's exactly right, Phil. Everything they say, they spin a lie. They spin all the lies and make it sound so beautiful, and it's just like, that's why I'm saying there's two things we need to do to turn this thing around. Number one, stop paying taxes. Take whatever you can take. Claim. If you have a claim or you got money coming in from the government, I don't care if it's in the United States or Canada or whatever, claim that to the IRS, to the CRA, claim it, no problem. But do not claim anything else. If you got side money coming in, it's none of their business what you do on the side, okay? They are trying to interfere in your privacy, in your sovereignty, okay? Number two, okay, is stop watching TV. Cut your cable, get rid of your TV. If you need any information or whatever you're going to need, just go to your device, and I wouldn't even be plugging into PCs or laptops at this point. It just because we don't, like I said, I was going to come down and invest in a, nice phone and get it all set up, but I seen these other phones. I said, you know what? I would rather pay $1,500 to $2,000 to repair an old one, which I did, instead of going out there and buying a 25,000 peso new phone. What's the point? Eventually, I think we're all going to get our Q phones. The Q phones I've seen more and more coming to the surface. I've seen the Q cards more and more coming to the surface. So, expect all this to happen, and I expect it to happen this year. Okay. The trade war, like I said, it's not about trade. It's about disrupting the American Republic and what the system, what they're trying to clear out, and bring the voting to a legal and uncorrupted situation of what the Democrat Party has created. They're trying to unravel all that right now. It's not an easy job. Okay, so we still have a thick, how you doing, Rob? We still have a thick presence of Chinese communists throughout North America and South America. okay, and they're being taken down by the military. We have a lot of patriots, and more are coming. I am really happy to see more and more people, good people waking up, right? They're waking up to all the deception, lies, and absolute satanic level. That's what they're trying to, propose onto us. Everything's inverted, upside down, but all of that's being taken out. There's going to be no more, rainbow-colored hair running the streets anymore. It's all coming down, and and what they're doing is just exposing themselves, which is good, because they're just setting themselves up for arrest, which is good. And so is the Democrat Party, so are the Liberals up in Canada, so are the globalists that are over in England and Western Europe. Yeah. Yes, and that's excellent news. Ron says that Walmart is closing 200 stores. They're going to have to, because they're all part of the globalist system. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we got. Now I just want to say something about the Indigenous chiefs of Canada. We know that you're being paid. We know that you're acting like a bunch of puppets. It's so obvious. You cannot lie with a straight face. You guys are not poker players. I see it all written all over your face. And what you have done to your people is absolute sacrilege. And I just want to say, you deserve everything that you've got coming to you. And that is going to be very, very harsh. Very, very harsh reality. I believe in some cases the Indigenous leaders and the chiefs out throughout Canada are actually worse than the leftist agitators themselves, because they speak with forked tongue. They lie like some of the ugliness that comes out of their reserves. And if they were doing anything good for their people, then their reserves would be in a lot better shape, but they're not. Okay? So I'm going to plug in. So bear with me here. Okay. Yeah. So let me just roll through this. So let's see also what else we got here. Yes. So like I said, the Indigenous chiefs, they've got some pretty, it's going to be a real eye-opener with these arrests that are going to be happening. Nobody's going to escape this, what's coming, for if they've done anything bad or wrong against humanity. See, they hold the Indigenous powers. That's what makes it so criminal. They abuse their powers for the Indigenous people, but they're not using it for good. They're pocketing it, their own pockets, and skimming that money that they receive from the government. It all gets skimmed back and kickbacks to the federal government, into the cronies' hands and pockets, whatever they come from. The whole thing is a big Ponzi scheme, and they're using our money to do it. That's why I say, if we stop paying the taxes, I'd be willing to give up my pension. I'd be willing to give up, anything to do with Canada, just so we don't have to pay our taxes anymore. I'm ready for financial war with these perpetrators, with these criminals that, we haven't had an honest election in Canada since the days of John A. Macdonald, going back 150 years. So why should things change now, right? So, and they're all wrapped up in the same thing. The whole thing, anything to do with any corporation anything. I mean, the corporations, some of the ones that that moved from Canada into the States probably had to wake up very, very fast and say, well, we're not going to be dealing with this. And the federal government, they can see that it's coming down. There's going to be no more kickbacks and everything else. This company here that we've developed into a corporation is not going to benefit us any by us being in Canada. We have a weak loonie by 40%. We have trade problems with the big brother of the Republic of the United States. We have, I mean, there's just so many things that are against that. So you're going to see Canada financial district and cities turn to ashes. I hope it doesn't go there. I hope it doesn't get to that point. But like I said, I will do everything I can to wake up the Canadian people to what is happening. Sawmills and pulp mills closing here in Prince George, yeah, and they lie too. Exactly, Robert. Everything's shutting down. They're moving their, that's why they're trying to burn down everything. They're trying to, pay for these arsonists to go out in the bush and start these fires, and then don't send planes out to put the fires out. This is why we have to fight. This is a kinetic war that's going on right now. This is why I say the guys or people or families that are living out in the country right now, in British Columbia or in a wooded area, even in Alberta, Saskatchewan, northern Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, we all need to have ATVs with fire retardant tanks on the back and be our own fire departments and stop these. And if you see any of these arsonists running through the bush or whatever, you do a citizen's arrest and put some zip tie on them and, message me for the rest of it, if you know what I mean. Yeah, but everything's shutting down. Everything's going to be shutting down, and that's fine. That's what we want. We want to bring it all to its knees, and the normies, or the normies that are there, the sleepers that can't wake up, will be waking up, because now it's going to be hitting their bank accounts. Their bank accounts will be taken down very, very soon. The chiefs are the worst. They have done so much to hurt the indigenous people. I seen them in Cranbrook when I was there. I was helping. There's a lot of indigenous living in broken down pallet, made up tents, living up in Moyer Park. They live there, and they come down, and there's an actual crack house that they walk to, because I know, what was there before and who they are now. I know these people by name, and they're not being touched. They're not being touched. The crack house is there. They go get their shit, and they go do it, and whatever the case. I mean, this all has to be cleaned up. They actually encourage that stuff. They're not changing anything. They're not helping the addiction. They're not, and the world, the world keeps turning and they think everything's fine, and it's not. The indigenous people are the ones that are suffering. The Canadian citizens are the ones that are suffering. Even the people that come from India that try to do a good job and try to assimilate with Canadians and their way of life are suffering. There's a lot of migrants that have come in. Case in point, we see what goes on in Poland. They have the military, they have the big, strong, high walls up there, metal, and the Polish military is sitting. They're enjoying. They're camping out. But they are camping there along the border, along the Polish border, and the migrants are not more than 100, maybe 300 feet away. and they're trying to, but they will not enter that kill zone because the Polish will take them out. They're not pissing around anymore, and I think we should take that playbook and should have applied that in the United States and Canada in those times. We, those governments, I think Poland and Hungary have a very, very strong leadership, and that brings, and plus they're educated on past history of what they have gone through. They're not going to go through that anymore. Okay? They're not going to go through it anymore. And we have to take that playbook from them and teach off them. The Irish, on the other hand, are doing the same thing. The people are rising up. They're saying, no more. We've had enough. We're kicking all the bad ones out. And unfortunately, when you get the people, when they get to that point, as such as the Irish do, even the innocent people that came into the country will suffer as well, because the people on the street that are protesting and rising up with pitchforks and torches, they're not going to sit there and stop and say, well, are you a good guy or a bad guy, being a migrant, whatever. They don't. They're just going to, if you are anywhere resembling, Muslim or whatever they are, you're going to be attacked. And we don't want to get to that point. And that's where it's going to go. I mean, things are going to get heated up so bad. The only way to stop this is by relief of funding, universal funding, and have people, if they want to collect their money through their birth certificate, go back to the country of origin and collect their money. And from there, they will have to, if they have to come back inside Canada or the United States or wherever, they have to come back the proper way. Now, if there's people that have already applied, was approved as for living visas and whatever, and then they have to go back because their birth certificate was still from their native country, then they have to go back there, collect their money. If they come back in, it'll be much easier for them because they've already been approved by the government at that time. So I don't see any problem there. But I do see a problem because we have, in Canada, roughly anywhere between 8 and 10 million immigrants or migrants or whatever you want to call them have come in. How many are inside the country legally? I know my purpose here in the Philippines. I come in, okay, I'm a Canadian, okay, I have to respect their laws. I'm good to go for 60 days, and then I got to fly out, get my passport stamp, and fly back in. It seems like a lot of money and a lot of headache and a lot of wasted time. But it's okay if you like to travel, if you know what I mean. If you like to spend a couple of days in Hong Kong or a couple of days in Ho Chi Minh, then you can do that every 2 months. Go out there and, drop some coin in their country for a bit. It might be quite cheap to do, and then you can come back in, and then you're good to go for another 2 months. It's a game that has to be played because you are a foreigner coming into another country and you have to respect their laws. So, or you turn around. I'm not going to turn around and go back to Canada in the middle of winter. I don't see the point in it. But like I said, as long as you leave the airport or go through immigration that you're leaving, and then spend 2 days out, you can come back in, and then you're good to go for another 60 days. That's how it works. And that applies to pretty much every country. There's only a few countries that keep an open door, and really, I guess they're starting to enforce their laws right now a little bit more, would be Canada and the United States right now. But they've had open borders basically for the last, Canada's been since 2014, and the United States has been since 2020, 2021, or whatever it was. They flooded the gates. The enemies came in from the open borders to the south and the north, right? And they had 4 years to do it. So there's tens of millions of illegals down there. And, like I said, they all got to be cleaned up, and that includes the leftist maniacs as well, right?